Hey, welcome back. All right, so we're still on the topic of dating, but we're going to be discussing interracial dating, dating in LA,
Sucks.
her ideal first date,
I don't ask for
and
much.
some tips and maybe some personal rules of hers that she has for dating. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so dating in LA, do you think it's because she's originally from New York? I didn't give any bio on her. I'm sorry, but she's from New York. It's a different dating scene. Um,
100%.
so how is it dating in LA and the difference and the pros, the cons?
Well, to sum it up, I'm still looking for men in New York while I'm in LA. To tell you where I am when it comes to dating in LA. I tried, and I feel like I kind of always run into the same kind of guy, where it's two things actually. You either get the guy who is emotionally unstable or unintelligent, I should say, where it's kind of like you can tell him something and he automatically takes it as like a threat or as you trying to argue with him or trying to test his manhood. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know exactly where this is pointed at.
So for me, I just kind of feel like you have a lot of men who haven't really tapped into the emotional sides of themselves, who don't really understand how to treat women, but they think in their heads they do. Because as long as I talk to her, she should be fine. And I'm like, no, there's so many other elements that go into that. You can talk to her, are you listening to her? You can talk to her, but are you, going out of your way to make her feel special outside of just talking? You can talk to your mama. But are you dating your mama? You know what I'm saying? But then you also have the other guy, like we were saying earlier, the lazy dater type, where they just feel like, you know what, I can have my cake and eat it too and not have to do anything about it. And I feel like I've run into those kind of men a lot as well. And so for me, I just kind of realized, like, after this last situation when I found out the last guy I was talking to had a girlfriend, I was just done with like dating guys in LA and dating just on the West Coast. Like, I feel like I've never had this issue when I was in New York ever. And so that's why I always find myself.
Are the guys better in New York?
I bet they're more straightforward with you. You know what I'm saying? They're more like in your face as far as like, I see something I want, I'm gonna get it. Versus LA, I feel like there's a lot of like beating around the bush. You don't really know what's going on in their mind. You don't really know what they're thinking and what their ulterior motive is. So I think that's kind of why I'm so not used to it. 'Cause me, I talk. I'm like, hey, we're not having sex, we're not doing this, we can't do this, but we're not gonna do that. Just so we know that we're on the same page. Those kind of men will be like, yes, I get it, I understand. And then you get to their face and it's like, oh, we're not having sex? I didn't know. So it's just, those kind of things. But yeah, Team New York on that. But if my man is in LA too, I won't hide from him. But I don't think he's here.
So, Mr. Wright, if you're watching this video, which right now only has 7 viewers, and none of them are subscribers, you may not be watching this video, but if you are, leave a comment below or personally message me. I'll personally give you her number. All right?
Why? You gotta vet them first. I can trust you to vet them.
Okay, well, send me like your Insta and like maybe your Facebook, and then we're gonna message back and forth. She wants me to vet you now, so I'm gonna message back and forth with you, figure out, who you are and your intentions and all those good things. I am a good.
I think you are. Yeah, I think you are. I can say that for a fact. I think you are.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like,
I don't do that well for myself. I mean, I have a good guy now, but I'm not always on point when it comes to me because then my emotions cloud my judgment. But I think I'm good for other people to be able to vet because then I'm not emotionally involved. It's more like, okay, let me get to the nitty gritty. Yeah. I don't have an attraction for you, so that's not going to cloud my judgment as to whether or not you're good for someone I care about.
Yeah.
So I think I would be.
Yeah, I think you are. I honestly, if I can name somebody in my life where I'm like, if I have to send some man to her to see if he reads all the rights for me, it would be you. That's I'm like, I know for a fact, if you can't get past her, you can't get to me.
And as you can see from my jacket, I'm FBI.
She really is though.
I'm like, I'm an investigator. Like I go deep. Okay, so I will figure out if you're hiding something.
You know what I'm saying?
I will know you, and I will, So now we're gonna switch from dating in LA and the guys out here in LA, and we're gonna talk about what is your ideal first date, since it seems like you've been disappointed a lot. So we need the future guy who's going to comment or slide into my messages so I can hook this up. He needs to know what your ideal date is so he can make that dream come true for you.
You know, it's funny because I feel like my ideal first date is a feeling versus a setting, but
okay, how to feel.
Well, like, it's just because sometimes, men, it could be the simplest thing sometimes that can melt your heart because it comes from that specific person versus like,
I need you to take a picture.
So say for instance, if you don't like the guy and he takes you to your favorite restaurant, it's not the same feeling as when you go with somebody that you do like, or if you go, or the guy that you do like takes you to the park versus a fancy restaurant. I'd have more fun at that park regardless than the fancy restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the feeling that I have about the guy.
Your ideal first date is your ideal guy.
I guess it's a
so
case
you
by
don't
case.
care about the date. So all of that
I do
about the quarantine shutting down her dreams, it did not happen.
I do, but of course no house dates. That's one thing. We don't do house dates.
Okay.
But I would say anything athletic. I love athletic stuff. Or like adult games that make me feel like a kid. I love that. So I'm just like arcades or like hiking. Like those are great things. Out of the box dating is good for me. I don't like to do the normal like let's eat dinner, let's watch a movie. You know what I'm saying? I want to do something that we've both never done before. We both can experience together. And I think it kind of levels you up to either A, oh man, I really like this girl, I really like this guy, or B, well, at least I've had that experience and I like this experience. At least I want to keep continuously like going through this road. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I would say those are my top two. It's like something athletic or like gamey or something like that. My third would probably be like a relaxing situation like a spa or something like that, like a massage.
Him give you a massage?
No, I
to get you a massage.
Like a masseuse or something. That'd be cute too. Like little rose petals or something or something. Well, that's gonna probably be like too much on the first day.
Oh no. She's trying to go on some dating show or something. She gonna bring it in like a Ziploc bag and like
just start spinning around. I'm envisioning my wedding, okay, guys.
Well, all right. You gotta step it up, fellas, if you want to be with her.
I don't ask for much.
So let's go into your rules. Do you have any rules?
Ooh. I feel like, I guess I do. People tell me I do, so I guess I do. So, okay, when you say rules though, do you mean as far as like my first date rules or like, like just in general? Okay.
So like, I know some people have rules as far as like, I won't have sex on the first date.
Okay.
A guy needs to pay for my dinner on the first date. I need a guy to call me or text me at least the day after, once a day. Like, you have your certain rules that you're like, okay, these are the things that like has to happen for me, or that I expect, or that like
for me
won't happen or I won't do.
I'm in the middle when it comes to rules because I feel like rules also kind of tighten, like it kind of puts I don't know, explain, like it puts a restriction sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes it might make the person that you're dating uncomfortable, might make you feel uncomfortable if the person's giving you rules. But you know, guidelines, I would say like I would go after because I don't really have a thing, you know, because I've done the first date sex thing, I've done the waiting thing, you know what I'm saying? And both of them, they ended up still being the same kind of guys. So it didn't matter to me. So at the end of the yeah, so for me it's just kind of like, the whole first date thing, I feel like at least just know how to communicate. Like at least be able to talk. Like,
and be honest.
Yeah.
I think I stress that more than anything when it comes to guys. Be honest, no matter what your truth is.
Exactly.
Give me your truth because I'm gonna find out an hour later. And depending on what your truth is, if I find out too late, then you can't be mad if I like destroy your property or I lose my mind or something. Because like, just be upfront.
Right.
And you never know, the person could be totally okay with it.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of conversations before that I'm like, men don't realize that sometimes you may say, oh, I don't want this, I want this. And the girl may be like, all right.
Right.
Like,
cool. I was waiting for you to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, that's fine. That works for me.
Right.
But if you don't say it and then you leave this person on or you just omit it or however men try to explain the fact that they weren't upfront or some guys like to say, well, you know, it changed for me. Well, let me know when it changed.
Right.
Because if we're taking a journey and I'm thinking we're all on the same journey, and then you take a detour and I'm still like, doo-doo-doo, like, then it's just like it messes up our vibe together. It messes up what we're building together, and then all of a sudden I'm investing more than you. You didn't take a detour. I'm investing more than you. So then when you're like, oh, I don't want to come back onto the same journey, well, look how far I've already made it without you thinking we were both on it together. And now I have all these things invested in you. Of course, you're going to be mad.
Yeah. You know. So for me, yeah, I feel like that is just communication. I think that's, for me, that
So
is definitely, like I cannot deal with a man who does not know how to communicate. And I'm a Gemini, so it has to happen, you know. And I mean communicate, like you said, as in communicating your truths, communicating even when you know that we don't like each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know that you can still respect me even when you don't like me. And I feel like that's something that also we need to work on, or people, our generation, a lot of the times, because we get so upset and just say things that we don't mean, and then we have to expect ourselves to come back into that same relationship or to that same person like nothing happened. Me, I'm slapping the poopy off you. So it's like, it's your head. It's a New York slang. But I'm like, to me, it's just kind of like, I just can't understand why grown men won't be able to communicate or don't understand how to communicate, you know? But it's a thing, unfortunately, that we have to put out there. And I say the other thing, one thing I will say that will probably be a rule, I don't like men who touch me before getting the green light to touch. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the men who just automatically just jump into, oh, I want to be affectionate, let me just touch all over you, and you know what I'm saying? That's cute. If you want to put like a cute little shoulder, like your arm around my shoulder or something, or like, you know, like a cute little like hand on my leg. Cool. But just don't do the extra gropey stuff and the weirdo, like, you know, stuff like that. That stuff is what turns me off, and I will leave the date after that, you know? So get to know me first before you want to just kind of jump into the sexual side of things. And that will probably kind of lead you to a good night. You never know. Not all the time. Not all the time. But, you know, yeah, I would say that. What would you say your rules were, though, before you started dating, before you got into your relationship?
I don't have sex on the first night.
Okay.
And I know some people are so harsh against it because they say you got to go with the vibe. You don't want to put this rule on everyone. Who knows? It could be Mr. Right. Well, if you're Mr. Right on the first day, you could be Mr. Right on
second, third.
Yeah. Right. That's just me being honest. Right. You know, with the way I feel in my mind. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having sex on the first date. That's not it at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just know for me, and the way my mind works, I'm an overthinker. And I'm an over-investor. So once then I'm that person who's like, okay, we're together now.
Yeah.
And for guys, it may not be the same way. So I'd rather us get to know each other so I can know what you want from this.
Yeah.
So that way I'm prepared. So when I do decide to, I know that we're on the same page. And so that way I'm not looking for more out of it than what you're willing to give. And then there's no arguments, there's no fights in the end of the day. There's no me being disappointed because I know that this is what you say you want to give to me, and I accept unless or I'm like, no, I don't want it. And that's why I say I like a guy who's upfront and honest and good at communication.
Yeah.
Because I just the other day I was talking to Jonathan about a guy I previously dated. And you know this person, I won't say any names. Just in case. Like right now, I only have a few views.
You never know.
You never know. And I don't want him to watch it one day and be like, "What she talking about me?" And she mentioned me by name. But I went on a date with a guy who was like ready for marriage. He was ready to have a relationship. He was ready for me moving. He knew how many kids he wanted. He was just at that age and that success point in his life that he's like, the last thing I'm looking for is a woman, and I'm ready to fill that position in my life. And can you bring these things to the table? Let's make it happen today.
Yeah.
And at first I was like, oh, is he for real? But then I realized I was like, he's serious. And me and Jonathan had a talk, and he was like, that scares some women. And I was like, I have to be honest. I was not scared.
You was ready.
I enjoyed the fact that he was so upfront.
Yeah.
This is what I want. Do you want this too?
Yeah.
And then it was like this very grown up situation where I can say yes or no.
Yeah.
And then we can go from there. Or I can say, yes, I want that, but I want to take it slower than you.
Yeah.
I need to know you more. So then it becomes this whole very, very mature situation of how we're going to now sculpt our journey. Instead of you're 10 dates in and you're just like, so are we just kicking it? Or like, let's just go with the flow, which there's nothing wrong with it. And I've had dates like that, and I've had relationships like that where you're just going with the flow. Because, people can flip the switch. I had a guy before who said he wanted it all too. And then all of a sudden was like, psych. I mean, he didn't say psych, but in his own way, he was like, I don't want that anymore. So it can happen either way, just like you said. It could be the first date, second date, or 30 dates in, whatever. Yeah. But I do like a man who knows what he wants, is upfront about it, and can clearly communicate that to me.
See, this is why she bets my men.
I thought it was to be sexy. I mean, some of y'all would have ran away, but I was like, all right,
I'm ready.
Oh my God. Okay. You want 2 kids. Okay. Let me see if I can give you the 2.
When can I start my prenatals?
Tips for dating.
Okay. In LA.
No, it could be anything.
Okay.
If you have any.
I will definitely say and this is something I have to say, I'm saying to myself also, don't expect anything. You know what I'm saying? Go on the date for the date itself. Be able to think of it as I'm having a learning experience no matter how this thing turns out. You know what I'm saying? And I think for me, a lot of times when my relationships or my dates didn't work out the way I wanted it to, I took it so personal. Like, must have been something wrong with me, or what's wrong with that guy? Like, why is he acting like that if he told me like he liked me and things like that? And then I realized because you put too much expectation on this person that you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't even know you. He doesn't know your dislikes, doesn't know your likes. So how would he know what you're into? Mm-hmm. So I started realizing let the such the clause on wanting to hold the man down so much go and just enjoy it, and you never know the kind of energy that brings back to you, And then I would say my last one will be, don't be afraid to speak your mind or ask for what you want just because it's the first day or whatever the case is. Me, if I'm not comfortable with something, I'm going to let you know, because I don't want us to get to a point where it's like, now we're in this room and you assume that something's going to happen, and I put myself in a position because you're expecting something from me that I'm not willing to give to you, you know? So yeah, don't be afraid to ask for what you want and to say no, you know, like if you're uncomfortable, get up and leave. You should not be able to have to just sit there and just deal with the whole entire hell day, which is what I did a couple days ago, which I should have, but I left also. So I took my own advice. But yeah, those would be my top two things, you know, just go on it and to enjoy it and be able to just voice your own voice as well. So yeah. What about you? Because you got the relationship. I need to get them tips from you.
It's too new of a relationship to give, you know, any real advice. But
what's the prayer?
But like the tip, I think for me, my dating journey, you have some really good tips. Tips for me would be know what you want prior to going in. You know, just be sure of yourself as to what you want. Not necessarily with this person because you just met the person, but like, you know, just like what you want. So then that way you can kind of scope out, is this a person who's going to fit into what you want? That doesn't mean show up to the first date saying, you know, like my experience, do you want kids? Do you want it? But it's just know what you want, because then it kind of sets your bar as to the quality of guy that you're willing to accept.
Right.
Because if I'm going in and I'm just trying to have a good time, then Ronald McDonald could show up and I'm good to go. You know, but if I go in and I'm like, you know, I do want, you know, a relationship that leads to potential marriage, then I go in, I don't necessarily have to ask that many questions on the first day, because I can get a sense from what the guy is presenting to me.
Right.
And kind of be like, okay, do I want to get to know this person more? Is this person at least checking off some boxes for me? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean like superficial boxes. You know, you're allowed to have that, but like, you know, boxes.
Right. Yeah, those are good.
Good, meaningful boxes. I'll also say, come in to the date with backup money just in case the guy don't want to pay. We have a lot of those players out here in LA.
We do. I forgot. That's a good tip. That is a great tip.
The guys who want to split bills.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. I mean, it is for me.
Yeah.
But I know some women are okay with the whole splitting the first day. Is that okay for you?
No. I'll be honest. No. But I will say this. If we're on a friendly thing, then okay. Like if we know that we're not like, it's not going anywhere, if we're just gonna be friends, that's fine. But if you're trying to actively pursue me, then the first date should be all yours. So, like, of course, I'll pay for like little tip, you know, little things here and there. I'll drop the money for the tip or something like that. But like, I should not have to worry about that.
I just feel like not on the first date. But I know I have someone who I know who's my friend who feels differently.
Oh,
but
nice.
For me, I'm about the courting.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Once I got into a relationship, then we discussed what works for both of our budgets, what's logical for us. But I think for courting, and I don't even mind every now and then, like you said, like dropping a little tip. I don't even mind scaling down the dates.
Right.
Like you don't have to take me to fancy places. You can we can do fun and like free activities or cheap cost activities. I'm all about working within what you can afford.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes men get confused. They think, oh, I need to take you out to the finest restaurant. When you can't pay for it.
Right. And
or you want me to split it. Like, well, if that's the case, let me know we're splitting it ahead of time.
Right.
Before we go out. So then that way, whatever place we pick, I know that, okay, I can afford my half. But I say, ladies, always be prepared anyway.
Yeah.
Just have enough to cover whatever you're going to order or whatever activity you're going to do, just in case you don't like him. He turns out to be one of those guys who wants something in return.
Yeah.
Like Mr. Hotel Man, who gave my hotel money back, and I didn't ask to put no hotel. So just always have that extra cash available.
Yeah.
Um,
And just in case too, if you just gotta skirt off real quick and you need to hop in a cab or an Uber, you know, just have that also. Because you never know what can happen. You know? Yeah. Always be prepared. That's a great tip. That's a good tip. I should have thought about that one too. That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I said that. So I was like, because you did talk to me about the first tip that you said. I remember you telling me that as well. And I think that's kind of what helped me in my dating life too, is because I didn't know what I wanted. I knew what I didn't want to feel, but I didn't know what I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like in front of me. So I had to really sit down and tell myself. And I think you introduced the word casual dating to me. I didn't know it was a thing. And I was like, you know, maybe that's what it is. Something that's not like serious as a relationship, but we're still dating enough. There's an intention there. You know what I'm saying? So
there's potential.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much about setting, because I've been in a lot of situations where we just go on with the flow.
Yeah.
And then it goes nowhere and I'm confused as to what happened. Mm-hmm. And I was like, even if I don't speak it to him, I should have known what it is that I desired. And then if it didn't seem like it was going in that direction at a certain time, I should have had an exit plan.
Right.
And because I was just going with the flow, it didn't go anywhere because it was just flowing.
Right.
So I'm very big at having, because I noticed when I did Hinge, me just having in my mind what I was looking for really helped with dating on there. And I found that it made it very easy for me, because I would talk to guys and some of them would weed themselves out. Mm-hmm. Some of them I was able to weed out. And then some of them we would go on a date and then we would know, okay, this is not. And it wasn't even from me saying, oh, this is what I want. It was just us having conversation. Mm-hmm. Case in point, I went out with a guy. He then started talking about career. We started talking about career. And then he mentioned, oh, he was thinking about applying for a job in another country. Mm. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to work if he's already having plans on moving. Yeah. And it wasn't like I hope to have someone to move with me. No, it was I'm applying and I want to move and this is my dream job. Oh, so you're looking for someone right now. So I think it's good to just have that in your mind, because then when that date was over, I was like, okay, cool, this isn't it. Yeah. And he was still reaching out and I was like, this isn't it. Like, and we didn't even have to, I didn't have to ask you questions. You supply that information. And because I had in my mind what I wanted, you providing me that information went into my mind and I was able to compute, oh, this is not factoring into what I want, because this wouldn't make sense to what I have planned for me. Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of talking. Let me get off my soapbox.
She's informative.
I wanted to leave a little time because I know you wanted to discuss interracial dating.
Oh, yes. The big ticket winner. I mean, you know, I feel like when I moved to LA, before I moved here, I've been in the world of Black men. I'm not going to lie. You know, it's never been anything outside of Black men at all. And specifically African, you know, Caribbean men, because, you know, I'm African and things like that. So when I went to LA, you know, I actually had been on 2 dates. One was my best date and another date that was with two white guys. And I realized that, you know, it's not that bad, you know, as far as how everybody makes it seem, but don't also just don't lose yourself in that relationship. Still understand you are also a proud Black queen or king, and that the person that you decide to date, whether they be in your race or outside of your race, is just an extension of you. So, you know, to help boost whatever it is that you're trying to bring to the table or whatever. So for me to you, asking you a question, how do you feel like, you know, in 2020, how do people kind of look at you guys any differently, do you feel? Or like, is it anything that, like, you know, that made you feel?
That's when we can come back to the dating in LA part. I think because LA is so mixed. Not that everybody mix and mingle here. I mean, because racism is very still alive and thriving here. But I think also because this is also the area where there is a lot of mixed couples.
Yeah.
I think people don't think twice about it. They're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, in his area where where he lives, it's like, it's predominantly African American in his area. Yeah. And like we see other mixed couples. We saw an older one, we saw a younger one with a baby.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I think people see us and they don't. They're like, okay, whatever. This happens. So I think that's what makes it a little bit different as far as being out here. I think people don't care.
Yeah, that's
like whatever.
So do you feel like if you guys lived elsewhere, it would have been a little bit tougher in you guys' relationship, or?
I think in certain areas, for sure.
Yeah.
And not that it's easy breezy out here. I mean, I don't know yet. I just haven't had an incident occur yet. I'm sure. And if you've had an incident, please write in. Please let us know. Please be on my next show. Like, I would love to hear your story. I just know personally I haven't ran into an incident yet where I felt, any sort of bias or, racism, in regards to my relationship, but me personally, but in regards to my relationship.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think, now that we have this whole like cancel culture and all these things where it's kind of like, oh, he's pro-black, and then you see him like when he brings his girlfriend on the carpet, it's like she's dating a white girl or this, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you were talking to the black people, and I feel like, this I guess is a question for you too. I personally feel like just because I'm dating somebody who is of a different race does not negate what my knowledge is or what my experience is in my own race. So do you feel like people try to put that label on you as far as like, oh, well, because you're dating a white guy, you don't know what it means to be pro-black? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever heard that before?
I haven't ran into that yet. I think also we're still new. Yeah. So maybe ask me in a few years and then I'll be able to really, I hope so. Yeah. And then I'll be able to give you some real feedback. But so far, no.
So what are your thoughts on him though? Like on that concept?
I don't change race just because I'm with him. And we both know we're a mixed race couple, and he disagreed with me on some of my black, because we have two separate experiences, and you have to realize that. And a lot of times I have to kind of be kinder to him because he's just ignorant he can't experience what I've experienced.
Right.
I mean, he can be empathetic. Yeah. He can, try to, give me that encouragement and be by my side and all this. But, he can't experience it for me. He doesn't know what it's like. He doesn't wear my skin. Yeah. Vice versa. Yeah. I don't, so I always try to make sure I teach him when we have certain important subjects come up. I try to teach him not to think that he can quite understand the feelings. Just, no matter how much he's tried to, predicate, that's not the right word, but no matter how much he tries to be understanding of both sides, and he's very much a person who gives people the benefit of the doubt and hears out where they're coming from. In that Aubrey situation, he was very much like, well, that's, you never know, like, what could have went on. And sometimes it's me I can't get defensive. Yeah. I have to hear him out, see where he's coming from, and then I can deliver him my feelings and where I'm coming from. Yeah. And I've told him about a racial situation that I've encountered where I've experienced racism.
Oh, personally for you?
Yes. Wow. Where a woman accused me of stealing a package because I was black and I was literally working that day and had to take a package to Amazon. So I've experienced racism firsthand and it's that new form of racism where they don't call you the N-word, but they're doing everything but. And it could be sometimes so much, I won't say so much harmful, but it could be just as harmful. It still hurts. Yeah. And it's still dangerous because this is a person who called the police, tell all kind of lies about me after having no evidence, and then police come and try to hurt me because this woman believes this because of the color of my skin. Right. And so and I told him before, I don't believe in all this, like, but that's a different video we can get into later. I don't believe in all this vigilante justice where people take it in their hands to do citizens arrest. I don't believe in that. I know it's a law in certain areas, but I don't believe in citizens arrest. You're a citizen.
Right.
Be a citizen.
Right.
I pay tax dollars for the police to take care of things, and they don't even handle stuff right. So
imagine
and you have no training, and now you're trying to come in and lay down the law or do some sort of investigative work. Like, leave me alone. So I told him about that situation before, and he told me, he was very sweet. He understood it. But he said it himself. If he did not know me and he just heard a story like that, he would have thought it was the most ridiculous thing he ever heard and would have not believed it. But because he knows me and I'm not an exaggerator, he's like, to hear that, like, I can't believe someone would do that.
Yeah.
So I think in interracial relationships, you just really have to hear each other out and be like, just be sensitive to each other, like, and try to understand. Like, we live in two separate skins.
Yeah.
We can have the same heart, but our skins look different, and not everyone's gonna treat us the same. And we have to really, not be closed-minded and be like, oh, that could never happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we never know.
You never know.
Yeah. And I guess at the end of the day, we should just not have the label. I just feel like we're in a day and age now where it just shouldn't be. Our Blackness should not be defined by who we're with, if that makes sense. Our actions should be, you know? Yeah. And as long as he treats you well, or whoever, you know what I'm saying, who's in an interracial relationship is treated well, they're happy, they're, having great sex, all that great stuff, like, it has nothing to do with me, if it's not anything that's particularly affecting me, I don't really understand why it's, it's such an issue for everyone else.
Yeah.
And this is another person to ask you. I guess my last question.
Because I was like, we're we're going over.
Oh, we are.
I wonder if I should save it.
No, we should save it then.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll save it. Yeah. We're gonna keep you on that cliffhanger.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Thanks for having me.